안녕하세요. 오늘 할 게임은 셜록 홈즈 디 어웨이큰드란 게임이에요. 이 게임은 셜록 홈즈 세계관하고 러브크래프트의 세계관하고 섞여 있다고 하죠. 참 기대가 되는데요. 지금부터 한번 플레이를 해보도록 하겠습니다. 새 게임으로 할게요. 런던의 드리운 그림자. 베이커가
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep, in a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
런던 어드버타이저 1882년 9월 28일 스웨덴 일더 공주의 최근 런던 방문 동안 불행한 사고가 계속 발생하면서 영국과 스웨덴 간의 긴장감이 높아졌다. 가장 주요한 스캔들은 일더 공주와 개인 경호원의 원인 불명의 실종으로 초래된 영국 외교관의 망신이다. 오랫동안 공주의 최측근이었던 그는 근무 시간 외에 런던을 관광하려고 했고 늦은 밤 산책 속도로 끝내 돌아오지 않았다. 경찰 측 대변인은 경호원이 인상 깊은 스칸디나비아인의 대표격 외견을 가졌기 때문에 발견되리라 확신한다고 본지에게 장담했다. 그런 남자는 신사클럽에서 아니면 그들을 위로하는 아리따운 꾀꼬리에 눈에 띕니다. 뭐 어떤 스칸디나비아인의 전형적인 어떤 외견을 가지고 있나 보죠.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
사라진 더 스트랜드. 그러니까 그 홈즈가 읽는 신문이 없어져가지고 그걸 찾으러 가는 거죠.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
일단 쓰레기통 보기 전에 한번 홈즈 방을 둘러볼게요.
Don't look at me. If you want the newspaper, you'll have to get your hands dirty.
오늘은 밖에 비가 오니 날씨에 더 적절한 옷을 입어보십시오. 비가 오는 날씨에 적절한 옷이 이거 같죠? 모자까지 써야 돼? 홈즈라고 하면 역시 모자가 이 모자가 제일 맞죠? 그죠?
If you come across one of my drafts, please leave it in the bin.
221 B 베이커가
If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat. If I'm honest, part of me will enjoy watching you rifle through rubbish. Seems only fair after what you did to our flat.
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool.
쓰레기통에 선인장 가시가 있었죠.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
누군가가 홈즈를 독살하려고 했다는데?
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here. Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes, yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
내 신문에 무슨 일 생겼냐?
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson,
Sure, now I can take the day off.
did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive, hence the appeal of disguises. Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears, if you have more shillings.
기억의 궁전에 새로운
Get the
지문이
Strand.
나타났습니다.
Get your copy of the Strand here.
C로 사건 수첩을 열어서 기억의 궁전에 들어가십시오. 안에서는 적절한 증거를 선정해 질문에 답하십시오.
Get the Strand.
누가 더 스탠드를 더럽혔을까? 런던 어드버차이죠. 신문 파는 아이의 증언. 반지 씨가 계획에 연루됨. 신문 파는 아이는 수상한 남자가 책더미를 들고 들어섰다고 말했고, 오늘 아침에 인근 서점 주인인 반지 씨가 왓슨을 위해 책을 배달했다. 암살용 선인장 가시, 큰 쾅소리. 반지 씨를 방문할 차례다. 반지 씨한테 가볼게요.
Get your
From that
copy of the
Mr.
Strand
Holmes
here.
murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn
사건
knows
집에서
its part of the
정보를
game.
빨리 접근하기 위해서 증거를 고정할
Get
수
the
있습니다.
Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
C를 눌러서 사건 수첩을 열고 X를 눌러서 서점 사진이 포함된 증거를 고정하십시오.
Get the Strand.
서점을
Get your copy
찾아보세요.
of the Strand.
이 책? 이 책을 X로 증거를 고정하라는 얘기인가? 오른쪽 상단에 이 책, 반지가 배달한 책 이게 고정이 됐구나. 그럼 요 사진을 보고 이제 서점 찾아가는 건가? 스탠윅의 저택. 뭐야, 말이 넘어졌잖아.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
아침에 온 택배 중에는 왓슨을 위한 책도 있었다. 직접 배달을 선호하는 서점 주인 반지 씨가 보낸 책이다. 책에 첨부된 반지의 명함에는 모퉁이를 돌면 바로 나오는 서의 주소도 기재되었다. 서의 주소. 일단 모퉁이를 도는 곳으로 가보겠습니다. 여긴가? 어디야? 반지의 서점. 아, 이 차이가 저거죠. 증기기관차. 이건가? 여기는 바버샵. 이건 이발소 같은데. 이거다. 그죠? 반지 북샵. 이 사람이 반지인가?
How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with
아,
you.
왓슨이구나,
Do
왓슨.
something like this?
관찰한다? 길게 누르기. 조사. 아, 이거 안 되지, 참. 신문 잉크. 손에 잉크가 묻어 있다. 과로 증상. 손에 잉크, 이거 뭐야? 오른쪽 다리에 무게를 실음. 아픈 왼다리. 높은 급, 키가 더 커 보이고 싶음. 잉크, 신문 잉크, 높은 급, 키가 더 커 보이고 싶음. 오른다리에 무게를 실음, 아픈 왼다리, 다크서클 가로 증상. 뭐야 이게? 반지 씨는 잘 못 자고 스트레스를 받아 매우 지쳐 보인다. 그는 폭행당해서 자리를 절뚝거리게 되었을 확률이 높다. 짐작건대 그는 앞으로 폭력을 피하고자 높은 굽에 구두를 신어 더 키가 크게 아니면 강하게 보이기라고 한다. 반드시 누군가의 협박을 받고 있고 나를 해치려 음모에 열려들 수 있다. 일 중독자. 장시간 동안 고되게 일한 결과 반지는 다리를 절뚝거리고 매우 지친 것처럼 보인다. 그는 자신감이 없는 편이라 높은 굽에 신발을 신어서 키가 더 커 보이려고 한다. 손에 묻은 잉크를 보면 신문을 더럽힌 범인이 그라고 추정할 수 있지만 이런 사람이 살인 계획에 연루되었다고 생각하기 어렵다. 그렇다면 반드시는 자기도 모르는 사이에 더 큰 계획의 장점이 됐을 수 있다. 아, 둘 중에 찾는 거네. 그죠? 이 반지가 협박 피해자냐 아니면 일 중독자냐 이 둘 중에 고르는 것 같은데 협박을 받았다. 협박을 받았다. 폭행당했다. 뭘로 해야 되지? 일단 한번 협박 피해자를 해볼게요. 네, 협박 피해자. 인물 묘사 반주씨.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you coming.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
R 버튼을 누르면 주변 환경에서 상호작용이 가능한 구역이 강조 표시됩니다. 아, 노란색 점 이거겠죠?
The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
사다리가 부러졌다. 그러면 그 반지가 다리에 다친 게 사다리 때문에 그런 건가? 누군데 맞은 건 아니었잖아.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
여기 화분이 하나 있죠?
In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
임무가 끝나면은 꽃이 교체가 돼?
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
그러니까 누군가가 이 꽃을 더 잘 보이게 놓으려고 밑에 책을 받친 거죠. 그리고 이 꽃은 이제 그 어떤 하나의 신호고 뭐야?
The finest view London has to offer.
런던 최고의 경치? 뭐야?
In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
아, 임무가 끝나면은 말린 꽃이 교체가 된다.
The finest view London has to offer. Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
선인장이다.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something. A familiar spine. Is this what I found in my dustbin?
이 꽃가게 주인이 나쁜 놈인가?
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them. Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
관찰한다 해보자. 아, 이제 이 여자 관찰하는 거야? 멀리 보는 시선. 시선을 회피하는가 아니면 음란한 일이 있나? 심란한 일이 있나? 아름다움을 위해서인가 숨기기 위해서인가. 화장을 했고 단추, 고급 천. 이럴 때는 잘 입지 않는 옷. 내도용 브로치. 사별한 남편의 기림. 깨끗한 부츠. 왔을 때 신발을 갈아 신음. 이제 애도용 브로치는 사별한 남편을 기르는 거고, 고급 천은 이럴 때 잘 입지 않는 옷이고, 화장했다. 아름다움을 위해서인가 숨기기 위해서인가. 깨끗한 부츠. 왔을 때 신발을 갈아 신음. 멀리 보는 시선. 시선을 회피하는가 아니면 심란 일이 있나. 플레밍 부인은 사별한 남편을 기리고자 애도용 브로치를 달았다. 그녀의 드레스는 이를 적합하지 않은 비싼 옷감으로 만들어졌다. 그녀의 신발에 진흙 자국이 안 보이니 도착했을 때 갈아 신은 게 분명하다. 그녀의 눈은 무언가를 찾는 듯이 계속 주변을 둘러본다. 누군가를 기다리는 것일까? 플레밍 부인은 사별한 남편의 기억을 소중히 여기지만 화장과 멋진 옷차림이 말하듯이 다음으로 넘어가려고 노력 중이다. 그녀는 어쩌면 누군가의 관심을 끌기 위해 꾸미는 것일 수도 있지만 그저 자기 자신을 사랑하는 법을 다시 배웠을 수 있다. 아, 이것도 완전 반대네. 얘는 아직 비통한 플레밍 부인이야. 눈물에 젖은 볼을 가리기 위해서 화장한다. 흐린 옷차림으로 슬픔을 묻으려고 하지만 지금도 애도용 브로치를 착용했다. 항상 저 멀리 보는 그녀의 시선은 마음도 멀리 있다는 것을 보여준다. 아직 비통해. 밤으로 넘어갈 준비가 됐다. 아, 예, 안녕하세요. 지금 이거는 스팀으로 게임 중이에요. 이 게임이 PS4로도 있는지 모르겠네요. 아무래도 왠지 그 반지시하고 왠지 좀 뭔가 썸씽 있는 것 같죠?
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
증거를 제시한다? 무슨 증거? 아... 선인장 아가씨?
I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
금이간 선인장 화분. 플레밍 부인은 가판 때 선인장이 어떻게 등장했는지 모른다고 주장했다. 쉬려고 자리를 비고 돌았더니 있었다고 한다.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
I'll be off.
딱히 뭐가 없는 것 같은데. 다시 한번 반전대 가볼까요? 안 되네.
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
증거, 전시된 꽃다발.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
반즈가 배달한 책. 반즈의 부서진 사다리. 뭐야? 반지 씨는 플레밍 부인을 사랑한다? 반즈는 꽃을 파는 플레밍 부인의 관심을 끌려고 꽃다발을 전시한다. 그는 그녀가 자신의 가게에 들어와 물을 주는 방법을 조언하거나 아니면 그저 절박할 수 있다. 반즈는 계산대에 놓인 카탈로그에서 주문한 선인장을 익명으로 선물했다. 의문이 드는 선택이지만 카탈로그에서 이 선인장을 불멸의 존재로 설명하니 반즈에게 선인장은 그의 영원한 사랑의 상징이다. 그가 이 선인장을 221 B 베이커가 밖의 더 스트랜드에 떨궜다는 것은 분명하다. 이제 사건의 경위를 들을 때다. 일단 반지 씨한테 가봐야겠죠? 안 되는데? 어디 보자. 반지 씨가 플레잉 부인을 사랑한다. 그러면은 저기 반지 씨는 안 되고 그러면은 플레밍 부인한테 가봐야 되나?
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original.
강아지한테 이름 많이 걸었네.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall. I should have worn something warmer.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
People don't tend to come out for flowers when it rains. Perhaps I should try selling door to door.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
뭔가 되게 좀 이런 그림이 약간 좀 그런 그림이죠. 그 크툴루 같은 그림. 오, 이게 뭐야? 정글북?
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
반지가 무슨 저건가? 정보 요원 같은 건가? 외래 식물 카탈로그. 반지의 계산대에 놓인 외래 식물 카탈로그다. 카탈로그의 이름은 영원한 사랑을 위한 영원한 식물이다. 반지가 그 플레임 분이 좋아하는 거 맞네.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the obtruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
더 스트랜드 1882년 9월 18일 부두를 뒤흔든 초석 폭발. 초석이 뭐야? 런던 한 거주민은 평화를 깨뜨린 시끄러운 쾅소리와 짙은 붉은색 연기 때문에 어젯밤 불시에 잠에서 깨게 되었다. 이른 저녁 3번 부두에 정박했던 유럽행 상선 모스크바는 연달아 이어진 진탕성 폭발로 흔들렸다. 한 관계자는 사건에 관한 코멘트를 아직 남기지 않았고 당시의 승무원 탑승 여부는 아직 파악되지 않았다. 강으로 노출된 초석을 봤다고 증언하는 목격자도 있지만 아직 해당 구역이 노동자와 대중에게 출입 금지이기 때문에 사건의 경위를 파악하기까지는 시간이 걸 수 있다. 뭔가 부두에서 정체불명의 폭발이 일어났나 보죠.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
내일자 더 스트랜드.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No? Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
스탠웨이의 저택.
Not much further now.
여긴가? 여자가 울고 있는데 말을 걸 수가 없죠.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
여기 왜 일장기가 있냐? 요 일장기 맞죠? 아까 전에 여기 어디가 스탠릭의 저택이라고 한 것 같았었는데.
Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
아, 반지 서점 근처에 있구나. 이상하네. 여긴가?
Impressive stature, strong gaze. I think this man deserves a knighthood.
Really, Holmes? How can you be so sure?
On rare occasions, Watson, it can suffice to trust one's gut.
이게 그 코난 도일의 그 흉상? 흉상인가봐요. 아서 코난 도일. 뭐 다 아시겠지만 셜록 홈즈 작가죠. 여긴가? 어디지? 막혀있고.
no chance of doing that.
어디지? 뭐야, 일본 대사관 그런 건가 보다. 여긴가? 아,
Is this
이거 맞죠.
lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles, and it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
다른 실종자가 있습니까?
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me? I shall need your written testimony. Then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
그는 어디서
May I
거주합니까?
see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Tell me about Kimahir.
He's foreign, a Maori, all the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English, never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
그러니까 그 사라진 하인이 마오리족이다. 그러니까 인종이 다르구나
When did you
이제.
last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
신문?
I take it this is the first time Kimahir has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimahir may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahir make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No, no. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
한번 그 하인의 집으로 가볼까요? 아, 이게 그 하인의 집인 것 같죠? 집중은 주변 세상에 관한 사소한 정보를 알 수 있도록 도와줍니다. 초록 물결의 동그라미를 보면 F를 눌러서 물체를 더 자세히 관찰하십시오. 연구한 증거를 고정하지 않으면 볼 수 없는 증거가 있으니 고정하는 것을 잊지 마십시오. 아, 연구한 증거가 있을 만한 게 있나?
A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called. Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? Button chops. The remains of a meal. A heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
아편.
The ashes are long since cold.
단서가 충분하면 셜록은 상상을 이용해서 과거를 재구성할 수 있습니다. F를 눌러서 상상 교점을 보십시오. 사건의 정확한 버전을 재현해보라고? 아, 이건가? 이게 그 희미하죠? 하인.
A scrap of Hessian. A scrap of Hessian.
센 조각.
These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here.
오, 여기 사람 얼굴 모양이죠? 이렇게. 누구야?
A small navy spyglass.
망원경. 오. 여기서 넘어졌어?
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
여기서 뭘 먹었고, 여기서 뭔가에 밀쳐져가지고 뒤로 넘어졌고.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed? You think you know someone?
무릎 자국?
Looks like a knee print.
숨었다? 신발 자국, 무릎 자국. 아, 이 동상 뒤에 숨어 있었다고?
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Chewing tobacco. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
이것도 그 키미해야죠. 하인.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape? Yes, Stenwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
뭔가 놓친 게 있나? 특이한 열쇠 구멍을 가진 자물쇠. 음, 어, 뭐야? 바퀴 자국?
What could have left these tracks? They seem fresh.
요건가? 뭐야? 여기 뭐가 있죠?
The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
아, 굴뚝을 막았다. 그러면은 그 질식해 죽었나? 키미히야가?
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
창문?
Is this a taniwha, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
Is this a taniwha, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
오, 저게 왠지 느낌이 뭔가 좀 그런 거 같죠? 크툴 같은 거. 어허. 오늘은 게임을 여기서 이제 그만두겠습니다. 아이고, 너무 졸려가지고 다음에 또 이어서 게임을 시작해 볼게요. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 다음에 또 뵙겠습니다.